Hello, welcome back to the stream. All right, so yesterday, this is where we left off. We were trying to make it. I was trying to make this waterfall look like a waterfall. I had gone through a bunch of the levels that I already made and basically reworked the way that the water texture, or not the water. Well, yeah, the water texture, but mostly the shader and material stuff was like set up. All right, so anyways, let's actually get back to work. So this waterfall, it looks kind of like a stagnant pool of vertical water because I was not finished working on it last time. I was well, working on it. So anyways, I think let's start off by swapping out the texture for a more correct one. Probably water rapids. I'm curious what the higher texture. Ooh. I see, that's what the higher resolution version looks like. I'm gonna swap it back for the lower res, but I was just curious of what it looks like. Anyways, let's scale it up and make it so that it's actually scrolling down. Yeah, that looks good. At least I think it looks good. The problem is the tint doesn't quite line up, but that's fine. Oh wait, I had this correct. This no, that's also wrong. Oh well. It is not a big deal. Water's a little bit too opaque, I think. And that's the wrong thing. Right. Oh, what's next? I'm actually not really sure. Oh, I know. Let's move on to let's actually move on to the. Oh wait, no. I need to actually do the gameplay stuff for this level. Okay, so let's quickly check the quest step related stuff. User data folder, saves. Okay, so sorry, I was just checking my phone there. Currently have an Amazon package up for delivery, so that's a thing that I mean, it's not like I have to sign for it or anything, so it's not a huge deal. I'm just kind of checking my phone occasionally. I've gotten into the habit of buying physical copies of movies that I want to watch because I like to actually own things that I like the media that I watch. I mean, I say that, and then I have a Steam account where pretty much nothing that you have on Steam is really owned. It's all technically rented. It's like you're renting it indefinitely, like a one-time payment. Whether you're buying a license to like you're paying for a license to a perpetual license to download whatever game you is that tied to your account, and then you get to basically keep it forever. That's kind of a bit of a controversy that happened. Okay, anyways, so let's actually start from the level that's like up there. That would be Sayonara Village. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to add an actual loading zone over here, or like over here, to be precise. So this is going to be an oh, actually, let's just make it easier and copy over the one from over here. To more village. It should be, let's put it over here. That's a good spot. Let's delete one of these collision shapes because we want it to be a lot smaller. Put it maybe here. It actually doesn't need to be that big. It just needs to be big enough that the player touches it. Like it's like pretty much guaranteed to touch it if they walk up here. It's small enough that it doesn't stick out the sides that you can't like touch it by accident. Actually, let's orient it this way. And do this. Huh? All right, load scene. All right, let's try this out. So you spawn here. And then when you go enter this area, you're here. Okay, so it loads the scene, but then the screen is black. Bit of a problem, but definitely solvable. That would explain it. Okay. All right. Now we get to the hard part. Oh, actually, I'm wondering if so earlier in the game, in a part that's like already made, there's like a quest called Follow Me. The idea is that you follow this guy and he takes you to this village level. And I'm thinking, okay, so my original plan was to have him lead you to the next area, but I'm actually wondering if maybe it would be smarter to like let the player figure out where to go instead of railroading the character for the player forward in like the like a linear game. It is technically, and this is like a pretty linear part of the game. I think it's probably going to be a relatively linear game going forward, but I want to give the player like a chance to, still explore the level. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have this, instead of having this character go down there, I'll have him kind of lead him maybe like I don't know. Oh yeah, like forward, of course. And then have signs or something that guide the player the rest of the way. Although, only problem with that is that it takes away some cinematic opportunities. Like, I want that that character to talk to the protagonist at some point and show up in a cutscene. It would be weird for the player to like be alone and then suddenly find that, oh, that guy's with me and he's like talking to me. And there's like a cinematic bit. So I don't know. I feel like there's merit to both ways of doing this, but I can't really decide, to be honest. I feel like if I just have the player be led ahead by an NPC, like a if I like have the player be guided by the NPC the whole way through, it's gonna feel a bit railroady, or it'll feel like the player is not really getting a chance to play the game. They're not playing the game; they're being guided through it by another character. That's what I think. That's how I feel about this. Or here's an idea. So my plan for this part is to have. Oh, here's an idea. I could do like a hybrid of both. So I'll have the character, lead the player. Okay, I should probably explain a bit more. My plan is for there to be two paths to. So the idea is that there's like a monster robot thing that's like burning down the forest, and there's like smoke ahead somewhere. But there's gonna be two paths to get there. There's gonna be the short way and the long way. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have that character lead the player up to the short way, and then they'll find that it's blocked off through a passageway that only that character can get through because he's physically a lot smaller or more nimble. And then he'll basically say, "You'll have to find another way through," and then that'll be the character's cue that he has to go this way, and this will lead him in the correct direction. The long way through, which will lead him into a dungeon, which he will have to complete in order to pass through. And then the boss of that dungeon is the monster that's burning down the forest, because you go through the dungeon, you come out through the other side. It's basically the boss arena, and the other character will have met you at the other side by then. There are problems with that though, like with continuity, because like the player will wonder, "Hey, why didn't you show? Why did you go ahead of me? Why didn't you guide me through the other path? What if I got lost?" Bit of a conundrum right now. I guess it's okay since it's like the beginning of the game still. It's like chapter 1. Like this whole thing that I'm working on is chapter 1, and then when that's done, I'll move on to chapter 2. And I think that'll probably be a lot more open ended. You know what? I'll just stick with the NPC guide idea. I thought that third idea was good, but then there were holes in that idea with like basically the NPC being inconsiderate when I'm trying to portray him as being kind of a nice guy, but him like going ahead of you when it would be more beneficial for him to guide you through the way that you could that you were able to get to through that both you and him are able to get through would be more in character. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. It's gonna be railroady and linear, but you know, it's whatever. It's the beginning of the game. It's kind of more expected, I think. Like you do think about it, Ocarina of Time doesn't really open up until after you finish the first dungeon. Same thing was true with a lot of Zelda games, actually. There's always some sort of linear beginning portion. Wind Waker's like that too. Okay, so follow me quest. You could always change it later, right? Quest. Okay, let's put this NPC here. This is sadly going to be another railroady section of the game, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think it's a huge deal. PC guide root. Okay. Okay. So here's the first point. Second point is like here. Making sure that there's no obstructions along the way, because that would ruin it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm creating a series of points that'll produce a route that the NPC will follow that over the course of this part of the quest. If you're wondering why I'm not just using a standard A-star pathfinding, because I'm trying to be authentic to how games of like the this retro early 3D era were made. They would typically, I think they would typically use like a predefined series of points and have the NPC like follow those points instead of like pathing to their destination, like you expect from the games nowadays. It does make it a little bit inconvenient for me, but I think it's probably a more interesting, or a more, well, I mean, it's more authentic, of course. But I like the idea of it being as similar as possible to how a game of that era probably would be like. I even went so far as to find a shader that replicated the 3-point bilinear filtering that the N64 uses in its 3D rendering. Like, you know how the Nintendo 64, it has like these blurry bilinear filtered textures at like low res. Well, they also have like a weird quirk to them where they don't follow the same sort of pattern, or they don't do bilinear filtering properly. they so in regular bilinear filtering, I think you use like it uses like 4 samples from for the surrounding pixels when interpolating the color of a position on a mesh. It uses like the texels, the interpolation. With standard ones, it uses the nearest 4, but with the Nintendo 64, it's a designed to take it takes like this shortcut where it only takes the nearest 3 pixels. It's not even really the nearest 3. It's like a specific pattern where it's, it ends up looking kind of like a rupee pattern. That's how it's been described. I could probably you could actually see it right here. It's very faint, but it's kind of like that. So here's the middle of a texel right here. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. It's not like a round. It's like that. This isn't a very good texture to kind of demonstrate that with. Oh, I could probably find a better one if someone wants me to do that. Oh, let me see if I can find one. Oh, here it's really obvious. You can kind of see how it's kind of diagonal, like this. You see it. Oh, here's a really good spot. See that? It's a black bit. It's kind of like a lopsided hexagon, kind of like a rupee. That's what that's how the Nintendo 64 does bilinear filtering. That's not how modern computers do it, but I'm using a shader that replicates that quirky shortcut that the Nintendo 64 does. Definitely glad that I found this shader. There were a few shaders that I found that did this, but this is the only one that worked with GLES2. The other one required GLES3, which is a little bit too advanced for this project, I think. You're wondering why I'm picking GLES2 specifically? Because it's more compatible with older devices, I think, or weaker devices. It's like older Android phones could play it. Although I'm not actually planning on porting this to Android. I probably could. Only problem is I'm not sure how the control scheme would go. I struggle to think of a good way of playing these sorts of games on full touchscreen devices. I mean, it's not that hard. Like, people play Fortnite on Android phones, but I mean, I could probably set something up. But the game's not designed with that in mind, to be fair, or to be clear. It's designed with like an Xbox 360 or just, you know, Xbox controller in mind. As you can probably tell from some of the UI screenshots. Okay, so that's the root setup. So now I have to actually connect the points. If you're wondering why this isn't an automated setup where I have like a root, where I have like this, like I set up a root using all of these, it's because a root point doesn't necessarily have only one like next points. I call them. So like it's designed to make room for branching paths. The problem with that is that I don't think there's a good way of automating the generation of that, of branching paths. Unless it's set up in such a way that the next path is are like children nodes, then I'm gonna end up with like a really, really deep theme tree where like nodes are parent and child relationships are really, really important. Not like actual parent. I'm specifically talking about the scene tree, not actual parents and children. Just to make sure that doesn't get clipped at some point in the future and they take what I say out of context. Talking about nodes. It's just the terminology that the Godot engine team decided to use. I guess an alternative would be like master and slave. But apparently that's controversial. And people get unreasonably upset at like choices of words when they probably shouldn't. It's really silly thing to get upset about, in my opinion. Okay, 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 okay. Let's make this the default. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it seems to be working. He's leading the way. And if you go too far away, he waits for me. And if I go ahead of him, he like keeps going. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that this is set up. All right, so that works just fine. I'm surprised it worked so well. I thought it wouldn't. I thought it was going to like not work, but it works just fine. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So, clearing. Independence these. Is it this? Scripts. Hmm. Okay. Okay, that should be fixed now. Okay, so there are two entrances to this level. There's this one which comes from the dungeon, and then there is going to be this one which comes from over here. That's the plan. So my plan is to also have this blocked off. The idea is that you arrive from here, and that characters from before is like, oh no, this path is blocked off. Guess we're gonna have to find another way through. I know where to go. We can go through the temple, or the dungeon level. Follow me. And then he takes you and leads you to the next area again. And that's basically the gist of what I'm trying to do right now. And then this is actually like the boss arena here. This is it's going to be like a 3-stage boss. It's technically already programmed, but the thing is, I really, really, really want to change it because I think it's crap. I think it's awful right now. Yeah, imagine that game developer is critical of their own work. It's pro. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's not that uncommon. I think it's actually very common. But I mean, there's kind of a stereotype where there's like a stereotype where developers like they blame the players when they don't like the game. What? How dare you not like this game? This is my pride and joy. All right, let's actually do what I'm trying to do. Okay. Trying to remember what's going on in this level. Why are they over here? Dang it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to delete this. It's terrible. Really sorry if this is boring to watch. I'm just thinking right now. think I can delete this and this. Oh, of course. And I created this before I created that other. This is like an old, this is like an older version of this level. Oh, never mind. It's here. It's right there. This fire looks very white. It's not very yellow. It's not very bright. Looks correct here. And it's probably because I think it's because of the lighting. It's tinting everything kind of bluey purpley. Okay, so you arrive from here and you see, oh no, it's blocked off by this burning log. It's too dangerous to get through. We have to go around. That's the plan. Okay. I'm curious if this level actually runs. I'm just gonna try it out. No, it crashes. Yep, crashed. Oh, that's why. Uses an old version of my entrance system controlling thing. I might as well just delete it, to be honest. Okay. So you enter the level. Actually, let's not do that. Let's node. It should be spatial. And it's broken. Yeah, a lot of broken stuff. Yeah, the fire burns. Uh-oh. It doesn't stop. I'm not taking damage. But the animation's like looping or something. Kind of weird. Kind of weird, champ. Alright, anyways, this should be here. Like right in front of the loading zone. Alright, it's technically time for me to quit, but I'm just going to quickly get started on this environment thing. Real quick, probably just a few seconds. Alright, that should be good. Okay, that's probably good for today. Have a good night. I will see you next stream, hopefully. Bye-bye.